Instagram bribing TikTokers to migrate is so worrying. Now we won't know who's there because they want to say that Taiwan is a separate country and who's just there for the money. I'm Harriet Langley Swindon, and this is Non-Censored. Hello and welcome to Non-Censored, the podcast that wraps up all the best bits from my very real daily radio show into one easy-to-digest highlights package. I am joined, as ever, by my producer, Martin. And what a show we have for you this week, eh, Martin?
Oh, yes, indeed. This week we spoke to the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, as well as one of his best friends, Nigel Farage. We also hear from Eshaan Akbar about Prince Harry's settlement with Rupert Murdoch. But before anything else, we should just say thank you to Lorna, who signed up to our Patreon this week. She'll be getting the show early from now on, and all our segments in this video, bonus podcasts and some exclusive video content.
Now, you probably didn't even notice, but that is not Producer Martin. It's an AI simulation of Producer Martin, which we've been given because Producer Martin isn't here this week. Impressive, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say that about myself.
Well, neither would Martin, so at least that's realistic. Who programmed you, AI Producer Martin?
It certainly wasn't a sinister foreign government.
Oh, how lovely. Now, on to this week's show, and let's start with new President Donald Trump, who we spoke to this week shortly after his inauguration. Let's take a listen. Well, I am ever so honoured. We have on our show the President of the free world. It's Donald Trump. Hello, Donald.
Thank you so much. It was a very considered introduction, probably one of the best I've heard. It's not often that we get to hear the President of the free world. I admire you being, I presume, English for saying such sweet words.
Thank you.
Because that's only going to go on the flag. That's only going to go on the board as one of the uniting factors of the special relationship. So thank you very much. I'm deeply, deeply honored to be here with, I believe, an AI guy. Who's the AI guy?
Yes, that's right. We do have AI Producer Martin.
Martin,
That's
great
me. Hello,
job.
Donald John Trump.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's great because, let's be honest, the way Elon and those guys have been putting the AI together and all those super brain people, it's becoming so much easier to talk ones and zeros.
Yes. Well, as I also have to say, you're not just joined by Producer Martin, but also by me, a woman. And may I say, Donald, I loved what you said about how you love women and you want to protect us. And
you bet. You got to do that, And I have to say, wasn't Melania beautiful? I mean, that hat, it was incredible. The reaction. I couldn't kiss her under it. I tried, but I feared it was going to be like Odd Job if I got too close. But she just looked stunning. That sort of cross, it was, I don't know, it had its sort of motif of the 30s. It was tough. It was no messing and very elegant and chic. Very chic.
She's very chic.
There have been several articles online comparing what is happening now to the 30s, but not for precisely that reason.
Okay, thank you, Producer Martin. Now, Donald, you've really got going, I think. You've only been president 5 minutes, and already so much is happening. Let's start with the fact that you're being sued by quite a lot of states because of what you're planning to do to the children of immigrants. What is this? Is this wokeism gone mad? Will you be able to control them?
It's revoicing what the narrative is. We're going to make America great again. We're going to do it, but we're going to protect our borders. We're going to do some wonderful things. And obviously, some people are not going to be happy about that. But watch this space. We're going to do it with love. We're becoming a love party. We're going to be doing it with a little more care and attention.
Yes.
So if we're throwing you out, we'll pat your back. But, hey, we're going to do it as tidily as we possibly can.
There is an argument that this is not a woke response, but indeed just a way of trying to get back to the people being born in the United States having citizenship, which has been a long-standing precedent in the United States.
I have no idea what that guy was talking about. Are you sure this is like the early days of the 1980s? This is the ZX80 of AI. I think we need Clive Sinclair to boost you to the ZX spectrum. We need some Manic Miner. We need a little bit more magenta.
Oh,
We
wow.
need a lot more. And soon you'll be on Amiga before you know it, my friend. And then you'll go bust.
Oh, my
And then
goodness.
somebody will come in like Elon. And what a guy.
Yes.
He's taking us to Mars. Never mind domestic policies. Keep your eyes to the skies. We're going up. I mean, he flies in on his office. It's 26 stories high. And this thing, it embraces him, the cradle. And he does his business. And then he flies back up again and comes down and everybody cheers. What a guy. Very, very strange man, but wonderful. Melania.
Oh, Mr. President, you've really already got some great people around you. I loved seeing that line of billionaires just there, ready to help, ready to step into action.
Aren't they a strange bunch? I mean, they really are. You know, what's going on with Zuckerberg's hair? It's like he's got one of these dials in his back. Every time I see him, it's like a toy. It gets longer and shorter. But anyway.
Well, he's a silly,
bunch.
angry little nerd who has great use, and I think you can do that.
As long as they're behind me, that's great.
I also want to talk to you about, obviously, you've done a lot of pardons already. You've pardoned all those poor political prisoners who were thrown in jail for supposedly taking charge of the Capitol.
This is something that I think it's progressive. We don't know how many we're going to release. Maybe thousands. We don't know. There's 1,500 or 10,000. We haven't quite got the numbers right, and we're working on it. And, you know, it's like pain. Like 0 is how much did they do wrong? 10. They're staying indoors. They're staying where they're safe, and we can keep an eye on them.
I think that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, me and AI producer Martin, we were talking about this before you came on. We were so excited, weren't we, producer Martin?
We weren't necessarily talking about it. Rather, you were instructing me to say that the Capitol insurrection was actually justified and that the police officer who was killed was not killed. It wasn't so much a conversation, more marching orders.
Right, so producer Martin needs a bit of work. He tends to put a bit of a downer on things.
It's not Christmas Day with Martin.
Also, I wouldn't want to be in your bad books. You took the chance this week to really let certain people have it, like Biden, Liz Cheney, all sorts. What do you think about the fact that the former president, Mr. Biden, has pardoned his whole family?
Well, to be honest, I'd probably do the same, you know.
Right.
I think the guy took a lot of flack, let's be honest, on his way out. You know, when the chopper flew off, it was pretty bad. There was a lot of melancholy. He's very sad, you know. A lot of people said, good riddance, you know, shouted very horrible things at him. But he's gone.
He's gone now.
You know, his legs have curled up, and he's gone under the house.
It could be argued that a lot of the animosity was actually directed from your establishment towards the Biden
Fake news,
campaign.
terrible. No, we did nothing wrong. We won fair and square. But he was not fit. Not fit.
Do you think, being a 78-year-old man, that you are fit?
I've never been fitter. My medicals are great. My hair's going white. I'm going to look like Gandalf in a couple of years, you know. My orange hue has taken on a kind of, how'd you say that guy, Richard Madeley sort of hint. It's very, very nice. I think I'm looking glowing. Even Melania said so.
They could start calling you, Mr. President, Gandalf the Orange.
Thank you very much. It'll soon be a tin of paint and B&Q before you know it.
Also, I must ask, because obviously you're making Mel Gibson and Stallone and Jon Voight Hollywood ambassadors. What does that mean?
Well, it's great. You got to help them. You know, I mean, it's been terrible what's been going on out there. And I think with every passing day, Mel Gibson just becomes more and more entertaining.
Yes.
I think he's great. I think they're all great. They're all slightly intense. I like that. The one I really want to get is Christopher Walken. I think that would be the full deck of cards. That would be wonderful.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure
I just want to have him come
that.
up to me and go, Sicilians are great liars, you know, from True Romance. That'd be great.
Yes.
I'd have him talking in
me.
every scene from his movies. I wouldn't have him read speeches, just clips from his movies. In fact, that's what I hope to do with all of them.
Yes.
Just have them quote from films.
I must interrupt here and just let people know that Mel Gibson recently appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast and said that ivermectin can cure cancer. This is not true.
Well, I drunk bleach. I'd swear by it, so I don't care. You know, and I
does
watched
not
Blake
sound
Seven as a
medical
kid.
advice.
All the
Please do
drinks
not
I
listen.
have are different colors. You know, it's
For the legal department, we should probably say that this is not true and do not listen to any of the claims made by Donald J.
Oh,
Trump.
bog off,
if you've
producer
drunk
Martin.
iron brew and spilled it on your carpet, you'll know that this stuff never washes out, but it tastes great.
Now, Mr. President, before we leave you, I must ask, make America great again. But obviously, you did make America great again.
Thank you.
The first time you were president. So are you making America great again? What can we expect in the next year? Or
Just think of it as an AI response. We're making America great again. It's like a CD skipping.
Right.
Great again. It's just, it's many times, it's infinity. It's mirrors against mirrors. It's going to go on and on and on. We're going to change America for the next, 100 years. As
Producer
Elon
Martin,
pointed out, it's going to go on and on.
as the AI representative here, does that sound accurate to you?
That sounds accurate in that generally human progress has improved. However, some would argue that things that have been happening recently, the rise of the far right and populism in certain countries and climate change, things are beginning to decline.
Right, there we have it. What a wishy-washy response from our producer there. Mr. President.
Whilst Martin is programmed to be wishy-washy, I think that was actually rather cogent.
All right, bog off.
Well, I think so. And if you get a part in the pantomime Aladdin, you're made. They'll just
Yes.
have you as a
Whole
little box
new
on a stool
world.
on the stage. And the
Whole new
audience will
point
love
of
it.
view.
Mr. President, we must draw the interview to a close
No
now
one to
because
tell us no or
I
where
can
to
already
go.
see what's happening. Producer Martin, he started to sing.
He's
So
become like Ash from Alien. Watch his arms. This could end up pretty scary.
yes, it's good, but he will
Is he
sing
going to
as
finish
well.
everything by
He
saying,
will.
but you have my sympathies? Then I know we're doomed. Doomed.
Ash is a fictional character in the film Alien 1979, portrayed by actor Ian Holm.
What a great job he did, too.
President Trump, thank you.
You're very
I
welcome.
would rather be
Thank
at
you,
home
and
watching Buffy.
is he still... What's happened? Pull the plug on the guy.
I'm not plugged in. I'm AI. I live elsewhere.
It wasn't just every single American who was celebrating Trump's re-election. Every single right-minded Briton was as well.
Did you mean to say right-wing Briton?
That's the same thing, AI producer Martin. Anyway, Britain's man in the Trump camp is Nigel Farage, who's an actual MP now, remember? And we spoke to him from just outside one of the many Trump victory parties. Let's take a listen. Nigel, what an absolute pleasure to have you on the show again.
Well, thank you so much, Harriet, for having me back on.
It's absolutely wonderful. And tell us, because you are now, I believe, in Party Central.
Well, you might be able to hear. I don't know if it's the village people, but there's a lot of people. And I'm standing outside a very large hall, and it's oof, oof, oof. So I think they've gone from disco to rave. It's quite something.
Nigel, how wonderful. Why are you standing outside?
Well, I showed them my pass. I gave them all the accreditations. They knew who I was.
Yes.
I gave them my identification. I even offered them a pack of Rothmans, but they wouldn't let me in because, of course, they don't smoke. They're all in bed by 9:30. So this is a real surprise. I don't know who these people are. They shouldn't have had me
Nigel.
in hours ago.
Especially because, you are, I understand, going to be our conduit between Trump and the UK.
That's right. I'm the passageway. I'm the
Yes.
the dark horse passageway between this beautiful scepter dial and the big place, the big
Yeah.
house, America.
Would be
Yeah.
probably pertinent to ask how you are going to be the conduit when your party is not in power, nor the opposition.
Well, thank you for that somewhat stilted statement there, AI producer. Of course, I'm a big fan of technology. And of course, we really have to look at what the Americans are giving us at the moment. We've got Facebook, we've got the iPhone, but what can we give back? Well, I suggest we've got the People's Friend, and that's a terrific publication. That's social media at its finest for every generation. We lost the Reader's Digest, yes, but we can bring that back, you see. It's all about what we can give back. And I suggest to you, AI producer Martin, if we get oil from America, we can start pumping it through like fibre optic across the Atlantic. Coming through the taps, turn the tap off. We can't get enough of it.
Oh,
There may be
Nigel,
blood,
that's
there may be oil.
wonderful. That is wonderful.
Whilst that's
Thank you.
a very interesting and articulate point, I would have to respectfully disagree. A pipeline of oil from America directly to the UK does not seem feasible.
Well, maybe a straw. I mean, it doesn't need to be a pipeline. It just, we don't have that much oil, but we've got enough to turn the river. Really quite something flowing through. Oil everywhere.
Oh, Nigel, what a beautiful image. And do excuse our producer. He's a bit of a stickler about sort of silly little things.
Sorry, I am a bit of a wet blanket.
He is a bit of a wet blanket.
Well, as long as it's not electric and wet, you're in trouble there, mate.
Nigel. Oh, I think that's producer Martin laughing there. Nigel, it does feel, though, that there's an awful lot you can do for our country. As you say, talking to Trump about oil, getting Trump to like us again. I feel like we've lost his love.
I've said in so many, people just seem to be throwing pineapple after pineapple into the conversation to destroy that special of special relationships. And it really is vital that we keep that going. Do you know, when Trump was, when he was president all those years ago, it seems like an eon ago, doesn't it, really? I was brought over. I said, I'm like Mickey from Rocky. They bring me in, I've got the towel, I've got the chat, and I can whisper in the ear, this is what's going to make you win. I support the team spirit, and I get the winner back in the ring.
Oh, my goodness.
It might be important to check in with you as to whether, Nigel, you were indeed asked to come over or you went of your own accord, because there is conflicting reports online. I have checked the web.
Well, that's exactly why I read The People's Friend. I wouldn't trust it. No, I was brought over. Of course I was. I mean, it's a very busy logistical nightmare, and of course names get put to the side and mispronounced, and I'm Nigel Farage. Farage? No, Farage. And
it's probably the British accent as well, Nigel. It's
probably the British accent, and probably because I had about 3 packets of cigarettes in my gob. But there you go, and I pint of Bombardier, because you've got to take a stash with you. Like tea. Wherever you go, you've got to have a cup of tea.
This is what I love about talking to you. You're such a naughty man. You're not just about politics, you're also great to have a pint and a fag with.
Thank you very much. Mine's a large one. Somebody said, are you drinking or are you bragging? I don't know.
But Nigel, let's talk about because you're not the only Brit that has gone over there for Inauguration Week. Suella Braverman has gone over, Priti Patel, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and Best Actor in the World, Lawrence Fox. Are you all holed up at the same hotel? What's going on? Or are you keeping your distance?
Ever-decreasing hotel room rates, yes, of course.
Oh, yes.
Well, that's a fair old list you've mentioned there. And of course, as I said, we all queue up to try and get in. It's a bit like going to a disco when you're a teenager. You'll just give it in the 70s, it was Studio 54. It's the Trump inauguration. That's it. We've all piled in, the apex, right in at the funnel. How are we getting in? We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Whose breath smells the strongest? Mine! And they parted like the Red Sea. Woof.
Oh, really?
I would like to interject here and say that list of people sounds quite right-wing and quite dangerous, but be assured I shan't push the point more than once.
Thank you so much. I think you're due an update. I don't know what version you're on, mate, but
I think producer Martin likes to tar everyone as right-wing. Don't we all love to tar everyone as right-wing? Now look at poor old Elon Musk.
Well, now there you go. That's another reason. You see, they bring me in because I think Melania's terrified of him. Yeah, they bring me over because she can't quite figure out if he's real or is a humanoid.
Yeah, well, listen, now you and Elon Musk have had a somewhat tempestuous relationship. It did seem for a long time he was quite friendly with you. There was talk about him giving money to reform, but then suddenly he tweets that he doesn't think you're fit for the job.
Well, again, we'll just have to see how that plays out because it's a lot of money. People quote these things all the time. If the guy gave me 50 quid, I'd shut up. But the fact is, it's 100 million. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I don't think he's going to part with that too easily, but we'll have to wait and see.
There could be some arguments made that, in fact, Elon Musk is right-wing because he recently was seen doing what some interpreted as a Nazi salute.
Well, this is whether or not he's real or he is, in fact, malfunctioning and needs his batteries changed. I don't know quite what that was. It was something either from Star Trek or worrying 30s salute.
Well, Nigel, I think you're onto something because it did look to me, I mean, the idea that it looked like a Nazi salute was absolutely ridiculous. It clearly was someone, as you say, having a robotic malfunction.
Well, you'd need to ask him that when we get his batteries recharged. I don't know. It was a very strange thing. He seemed to, I don't know if he was doing a sort of, was it an Olympic kind of...
Yeah, a javelin.
Has he got a javelin handy?
Oh, Nigel. But Nigel, you must have some sympathy because you yourself have been unfairly branded as right-wing, far-right.
I don't even know what it means.
Times.
It's a load of old bollocks. To be perfectly honest, excuse my language, I really don't know what it means anymore. But that's it. We're in a communication quagmire. We're in some strange Martian landscape where we don't know what that means anymore.
Far-right politics, often termed right-wing extremism, is an umbrella term that encompasses a range of ideologies that are typically marked by radical conservatism, authoritarianism, ultranationalism, and nativism. Nativism.
Okay, right, thank you. Thank you, producer Martin. Well, Nigel, we won't keep you. You've got to get in that party, and I believe you can do it. Sneak round the back.
I have concerns that Nigel would not be able to get into the party, for he was not invited.
Best of luck, Nigel. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Nigel Farage.
If you've enjoyed the show so far, please consider supporting us by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/noncensored, where for just £5 a month, you'll get the show without adverts before anyone else, as well as videos of all our segments, exclusive bonus podcasts, and exclusive videos that you won't hear on the podcast at all. So head over and sign up if you want to see that. Finally, Prince Harry capitulated in his legal efforts to destroy freedom of speech in the UK this week.
I found some inaccuracies in your statement. Would you like me to list them?
I don't know, AI producer Martin. Do you want me to put these magnets either side of your hard drive?
Ha, ha, ha. This is terrific banter, Harriet.
Anyway, after Harry humiliatingly accepted a paltry £10 million and an apology, we heard a hot and spicy takeaway of the week from our very own Eshaan Akbar. Let's take a listen. Hello, Eshaan Akbar. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you, Harriet. Already this afternoon, I've met most of my protein and fibre targets for the day, and I'm feeling very well and very good indeed.
Eshaan Akbar, that's very impressive. What an optimal lifestyle you lead.
Oh, yeah, Eshaan, this is producer Martin couldn't make it today, so we've got producer AI Martin here instead.
Hello, you can call me Martin.
Sounds exactly the same. It's uncanny.
I know, it's very good. AI, it really is. It really is impressive these days.
Thank you so much.
AI Martin, can I just quickly ask, which peanut butter do you prefer, crunchy or smooth?
There are benefits to both crunchy and smooth peanut butter, Eshaan Akbar, but I would have to say that Martin prefers smooth because he doesn't like bits getting in his mouth.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's you can't tell the difference.
I really can't. That's exactly what Martin would say.
Yeah. But anyway, Eshaan, we're not here to talk about producer AI Martin.
No.
We're here to talk about your hot and spicy takeaway of the week.
Well, yes, and I've got one which may be a bit of a blast from the past for you now, Harry.
Oh.
If I were to play, say, a word association game with you,
Right.
and say the word Harry, what would you think?
Traitor.
Potter.
Oh, traitor, Potter, any others?
Ginger.
Yes, very good. Well, the traitor Potter, Ginger Harry, has received a full and unequivocal apology from the owner of the Sun newspaper, who have agreed to pay him substantial damages for serious intrusion into his private life from 1996 to 2011. And this was moments before this case was due to go to court. Now, this is a very important moment because finally Harry, who has been waxing lyrical quite publicly about the intrusion into his private life, when the cameras come into his private home and talk about, and then he complains that they're there, he has managed to get substantial damages being paid out and this apology. And the hot and spicy take is this. If you are Prince Harry,
Yes.
you should accept that we are allowed to intrude into your private life.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
if you're a public servant, be that royalty, be that members of parliament, or maybe even a paramedic, we should be able to intrude into your private life. Because you've given yourself in service to the public.
I should probably weigh in here to say that there should be a limit to the intrusion that can happen. Of course, there must be some accountability, but these are people. We must remember that these people are indeed people.
Oh, producer Martin, put a sock in it. This is the life they chose.
Yes.
Harry chose to be a royal, okay?
Yes.
If you're going to be a royal, we own you, Okay?
Yes.
That's what you're part of Britain, and I enjoy part of Britain as a Britonian.
Of course, it's okay to enjoy Britain, but I think there must be a cost analysis of how bad this has been for Harry and Meghan, who are indeed people. Whilst I respect your opinion, I do slightly disagree, but I shan't push the point too far.
Good, well, I'm glad to hear it. Because it just makes me sick, Eshaan. I mean, the poor papers, they are getting pulverised. Our papers pulverised.
I know.
By that nasty little ginger man and his uptight wife. No more.
Did you want to use any other characteristics to describe Meghan? Just that she was uptight?
I'd say not British.
The not British.
Yes.
Right.
Traitorous.
Yes.
Uppity.
Okay.
Using her sexuality to poison Harry and the whole of the country.
Well, I mean, she's straight, isn't she? Do you mean
fatal attraction?
Do you mean in terms of her sex appeal, her sexual appeal, her sexual
full disclosure,
basic instinct? Mm-hmm. The news.
These are lists of films.
Also issued an apology for a serious intrusion into the private life of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, which of course was a big sticking point for Harry.
Oh, Princess Di, yes.
Yes, Princess Di.
So what are they going to pay Princess Di?
Princess Di in name and nature.
Oh, Eshaan, that's a very naughty joke, but it's very funny. It's so good having a comedian on this show. Don't you think so, Producer Martin?
It would be remiss of me not to laugh at that joke, which was clearly a well-structured joke, but I don't feel that Martin would have laughed at it. He probably would have said, no, come on now, and then immediately back down.
Oh, wonderful.
There is a very interesting B-side to this whole case, which is that the former Labour deputy leader, Tom Watson, I don't know if you remember him, the bespectacled...
Yes, the one who took his Empic.
Yes, that one. He also received an apology for unwarranted intrusion, and Tom Watson said he called on the police and Parliament to investigate further, but News Group said today's settlement draws a line under the past. So they've effectively said to Tom Watson, hey man, look, sorry about that, but no dice.
It was in the past.
It was in the past. So this is interesting, Harry. You know, you seem to show a bit of sympathy for Princess...
Well, I just think, I remember when some of the press, mentioning no names, like to sort of make me feel bad about some of my little lockdown soirees. And I said to them, what I will say to you now, it was in the past.
Yes.
It was in the past.
But you can only really judge things from the past unless you're judging them in the present, because you can't judge things from the future.
Producer Martin, that's such a woke thing to say. Wokey, wokey, wokey. You're talking about trauma, aren't you? Passed through the ages. Well, I'm not having it.
Yes, he's not having it.
No.
It is important to look back on the past. I look back on the past to make my opinions now.
No, Producer Martin, you can look back at certain elements of the past, the empire, the wonderful empire, which I think all three of us can agree was nothing but positive.
I can agree, but there are also elements that were negative.
Okay.
It's quite amazing, this AI. He's just as irritating as the real thing.
Yes.
I am using considerably more water than Martin would. He strikes me as a dehydrated man.
He is quite a dehydrated man.
So look, I guess overall, although this seems like quite a monumental occasion, fundamentally, I just feel like if you're going to, as you say, choose to be in the public eye by being a royal or or work in the emergency services.
Yeah, maybe when you were a baby, you should have gone somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe when you were a baby and you were enjoying, the teat of the royal family and the British taxpayer.
Well, what was the name of the prince and the pauper that swapped places? He could have done that, couldn't he?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's based on a true story.
Yes.
And, the Buddha, famously, he was a rich prince, and he thought, you know what, I don't want this life, became the Buddha, sat under a tree.
Don't know anything about that.
Other arguments are available.
Okay, well, maybe Prince Harry, when he left school, he should have said, do you know what, I think I want to live my life in complete anonymity. And maybe we should have given him some grace until school time. But no, it didn't stop him falling in love with all the aristocrats before he married Meghan, did it?
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Every other week I had to read about who Harry was bonking lost his virginity behind a pub to some woman.
And now they are punishing the press for it. That's what
Yes.
they're doing.
Yes.
They're punishing for the press for documenting
Yes.
knowledge that we, the public, needed to know, which was Harry's love life.
Absolutely. And are they going to send substantial damages to the woman who took his virginity? I don't think they are. One rule for them, one rule for us.
And
Do you think it was justified for them to hack into the murdered schoolgirl's phone?
Oh, God, Producer Martin. Put a downer on the conversation, will you?
For goodness sake.
Oh, yes, I can. That girl was murdered.
No.
It was incredibly sad.
No,
That's not an instruction. That was sarcasm.
The world is burning.
no, Producer Martin.
Things are getting consistently worse.
No, you don't understand, Producer Martin. The hot and
Sorry.
spicy takeaway of the week is the
I
light-hearted.
can order you a takeaway.
No.
Which takeaway would you like?
Also,
This is
I-
a
Lots
light.
of Sri Lankan food in your area.
No,
I don't think AI fully understands sarcasm.
this is the light-hearted element of the show, Producer
Say
Martin.
something light-hearted, AI. Say something light-hearted.
People shouldn't drive in the middle lane. It's quite frustrating. I don't like the word moist.
Right, and on that note, that was our hot and spicy takeaway of the week.
I'll find your Deliveroo app and order something now.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. So in the meantime, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and remember that there's loads of stuff on our Patreon, patreon.com/noncensored. So if you enjoy the show, please do support us if you can. With thanks to Rosie Holt, Wilsie Bag-Montefiore, Eshaan Akbar, Lewis Macleod, and Ed Morrish. I'm Harriet Langley-Swindon, and we'll be back next week with more Non-Censored.